ads during the big game. Is advertising really changing, and is it still worth $7 million for a 30-second spot? Funny enough, I asked this question a couple of weeks ago and pointing out that we might be moving from one-and-done ads to more content-driven campaigns. Monday morning quarterbacking here, but boy, was I ever wrong about that. You ready for 5 minutes of what you need to lead marketing? Yeah, let's roll. Hello everybody, Robert Rose here with the news. It is what's new, but really it's what's important in the world of marketing. And for the best and best practices in content and marketing, you can always head on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com. So last Sunday was the big game, the superb owl as it were, and it all came down to the final seconds. A great game all the way around, played by two excellent teams. From an audience perspective, it crushed it. Superb Owl number 57 was the second most watched owl behind only number 49, so totally worth it from the marketing perspective, right? Well, first of all, a big mea culpa is in order here. A couple of weeks ago, I was previewing the trailers for the big game ads, and yes, they all really do have now trailers for the big ads that they're going to run. And I was talking about how so many of them seem to be integrated content campaigns that would extend well beyond the 30-second spot into multiple channels, multiple platforms, and that really the ads were gateways to bigger stories that the brand would take forward for the year. Well, that didn't happen. The general consensus was that this year's ads, they were pretty fairly lackluster. None of them really creating the kind of overwhelming buzz that we've seen in the past. Perhaps this best was exemplified with M&M's and their return of the spokes candies. It was set up perfectly to be a compelling brand story that they could take forward for some months to come, only to be kind of confusing with a 30-second spot featuring Maya Rudolph talking about ma and yas and clams and I'm not sure what, only to be sort of ended with, they're back, they're all back now. I mean, some people were confused. A few were, mystifyingly outraged that they were back. For me, I think the worst emotion of all, I just didn't care one way or the other. In any event, it brings up a question of what is a media campaign these days? Are they just 30-second ads or print ads or full-page ads or banner ads strung together, representing the repetition of one message over and over again until the consumer relents? Or should we be focused on building a story over time, a beginning, a middle, and end to our creative ideas, where we get interest, build intrigue, introduce conflict, ultimately bring a satisfying end to a story over paid media, owned media, shared media, integrated? When our CFO asks, what's the ROI on that $7 million ad purchase, what is the question that we really want to be answering there? Even if that number is $700 or $7,000 or $70,000, do we want to invest in a campaign where, yes, one of the purchases was $7,000, $700, $70,000, but that was the beginning of a story that connected a content-driven owned media experience, connecting to an organic sharing across social media that earned media started to cover with industry publications, and so yes, one component of it was paid, expensive. But the campaign overall, over the course of the quarter, 6 months, a year, the story was told very well. There was actually a wonderful column in Ad Age this week asking a very similar question, and it kind of inspired me this week that we've seen too many ads and not enough campaigns. In it, the author of the article asks a really important question. He asks to look at how we saw our favorite brands in that big game on Sunday. Was it reinterpreting their DNA through a wildly entertaining piece of film that was even more exciting than the game itself? Or was it a procession of brands with overblown senses of their own importance trying to outgun each other on celebrity endorsements? Great question. Somewhere, many of these brands that we've seen today have lost their sense of story, even over a paid media campaign or owned media campaign. The quest for that one viral Cannes Lion award-winning content event focusing on one channel like TV or print or digital has overtaken our ability to work with many of our colleagues to create an integrated story across multiple channels. But the good news is, that there may be an opportunity here. The bar is as low as it was during Sunday's Superb Owl Sunday. Well, then we know that there's more opportunity there for the humble levels of where our marketing and content works day in and day out for us. But what do you think? Is your brand, your company creating more integrated, story-driven campaigns across not just owned media, but paid media too? Where are you playing the long game with your content? Not just in trying to create a repetitive piece of creative that drives people to yet more repetition. We want to know. Give us your best. I'd love to see them in the comments or send them directly on to us. But for now, well, that's 5 minutes of what's new that hopefully you can use to lead your marketing strategy. I'm Robert Rose, and remember, as always, it's your story to tell. Tell it well. I'll see you next week.